Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to my Final Fantasy Brave Exodus video, and today we're going to be talking about the 4 new Season 3 characters that got put into the JP side. I know it's been kind of quiet, a little quiet release because the global side's kind of in an uproar right now with what's going on. I don't know, not that big of an uproar, but it's a big deal. And I already pled my case about that. So if you guys don't know anything about what's going on the global side, and you care about that kind of stuff, watch my review, my last video that I made. Check that out. Anyways, let's get into the review very quickly here. So, Conche's STMR is... my face tells it all, yeah. Not very good. And she does get a lot of spirit when equipping instruments, but you can live without her STMR. It's not very good at all. In fact, it feels like a troll STMR at this point. So she has a full dispel, and everybody seems to be pretty common on most support characters nowadays. So it's not that big of a deal, but it's okay. 20% physical and magical demon killer for all allies, not too bad. One of the best things about her is she has a 40 Olympus Crystal fill for everybody. On a cooldown, but doesn't cost Olympus Crystals or anything like that. You can just use it. That's good. Permanent triple cast, which, compared to Pone, who has to use an ability to get it, she doesn't have to use any abilities to use it. So that's one thing on the pros and cons compared to Pone or Poppy. That she has permanent triple cast that she does not have to upkeep. Sorry about that. And also she doesn't have to upkeep any abilities like Pone or Poppy does. But we'll be getting into more of that. So she has water, lightning, and dark imbues, plus the elemental boosts that go with it, 15%, for all allies. And also her Limit Burst does give a 300% attack and magic buff for all allies. Plus some boosts of lightning is the most, of 30%, and water and dark at 25%. So compared to Pone, she does not have any elemental resistance buffs or mitigation or MP recovery or anything like that. But she does have a limit burst damage buff, I believe. And I think that's about it. I mean, it's pretty good, right? It's pretty good. The permanent triple cast is pretty good. And our TMR is decently good. It's a singing TMR that gives a 300% buff, I think, and some other things, but it's singing. They're really trying hard to make singing good again for some reason, and I don't think it's ever going to be good. The game's not slow enough anymore. The game's not that slow anymore. Maybe on some like really easy trials you can do that, but anyways, so she's good. I'll give her a 7.5. She's pretty good. She's like boneless Pone, no mitigation and no elemental resistances or no MP recovery, but she has a lot of other things that are really good, like no upkeeping any of her triple cast because she always gets it. So pretty good if you never got Pone. This is a good alternative to that. Moving on. Belmera has a pretty decent STMR, but even a better TMR, I feel like. 20% physical evasion, so whoever missed the Kingdom Hearts one had 20%. This one also has 20%. Also 20% attraction, which I don't know. That's not that good, but for some free-to-play players who don't have a lot of, don't have the Moogle Charm, but everybody should be getting the Moogle Charm in the future on the global side. If you missed my Chronicle Battle video, please go check that out. It talks about getting the Moogle Charm in the future. So my nose is all messed up. Apologize about that. 150% True to Wield, 6 times cap, 200% Aqua Killer, Fire Bolting Strike Chain, or Triple Cast Permanent. Just another 5-star DPS in the Neo Vision era. Just not very good. She can be a Limit Burst chain or two. It's just, there's nothing special about her at all. There's literally nothing special about her whatsoever. Her TMR is more special about her than the unit herself. So I'm just gonna give her like a 6 out of 10. A DPS, fire DPS, nothing special. 6 out of 10. Not much else to go in with that. I apologize, guys, but there's just not much else to say. Now there's a lot to say with this guy. Diverti, or Debel, triple cast, permanent, of course, as most. The reason why I put it this one, because he's a tank, and usually tanks have like a nerf with when it comes to triple cast and things, but this guy has triple cast permanently. Spirit scaling, bolting strike chaining, he has ace-like attacks in his normal form, and he's an evoker in his brave shift form. He's a magic tank, he has magic chaining like I mentioned, 150% magic and spirit true to wield. For some reason they gave him they gave him the 100% chaining cap, so he has 500%. Because remember guys, all units start at 400%. 200% insect killer, 90% general mitigation for one ally. You can use that for a grandest ability. It comes with a lot of other things, but I just wanted to put the 90% to be easy to write. His base level burst is 100 times mod, 27 hit chain. That's an ace type move, so you can imbue that. Okay, now here we go, the more complicated part. Brave shift form is an Earth Evoke Chainer, not a finisher, so it's not gonna be like it's not Earth Terra. Nope. It's more like Earth Fenrir Edel or Earth If It Rain, for example. He's more like that. And one of the better things about him, he has 130% Earth Imperil. That's easily accessible. It's not a cooldown. It's not a grandest ability. It's not tied to his Lona Burst. It's just you use it and it's there. You just use it. He has an Earth Imbue, which is useful for his other form, his normal form. 250% Lona Burst damage buff, and also full crystal fill for himself. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention he does have magic cover. That's why I put magic tank. Just so you guys know. So there's a lot of cons that I think that make him not so good. No imbues in his base form, he has to shift over like I just mentioned. Only 2 turns on his brave shift form, which is really annoying. Weapon selection is extremely bad. You can only use throwing weapons. You give him 100 chaining cap passive, but no true to wield. Usually guys, they give TDH units the 100 times passive, so then you can use Lightning's STMR to get 6 times, but they made him true dual but only 100% more, not 6 times. So now you have to use the Lightning STMR to get him a 6 times cap, also being true dual wield. I don't really understand that. I don't get it. And one of the biggest flaws with this character is that the chances, whatever, it probably will never not cover, but I mean it's only 80% chance with a very low mitigation rate at this point in the game. 55 to 65 mitigation, that's really terrible compared to a free Beatrice you can get for free right now. If you're not playing the JB side already, make sure you join if you want to get a free Beatrice. She has a 100% chance of covering and 65 to 80% mitigation on cover. Beatrice is free. They let you get her at EX0, I think EX0 or EX1 for free. And if it's only EX0, you can just save up UOCs or just use the new shard tickets to get her to EX1 for free. This guy is a Neovision base. You pull him. He's not free. I mean, what are they thinking with this? This guy is not that... He's interesting. I'm not going to say he's bad. He's interesting. But there's just a lot of things that I can't overlook. Like, why would they make him true dual wield but not give him 600% cap? They give him 5 times or 500% cap. I don't know what's going on with their head. And then they make him like 2 different kind of damage dealing unit character type things. I will say it's an interesting idea. It's an interesting like thing that they're trying to do with this guy. It just doesn't work. They're just, okay guys, if they gave him the 6 times cap, they gave him the more defensive stats, they gave him more mitigation on his cover, at least, 65 to 80%, I think he'd actually be pretty good. I don't know what his limit burst even changed with by him, but besides other units on this banner, because for some reason a lot of other characters on this banner have 27 hit limit bursts. Belmera has 27 hits, I believe. And the next unit on this banner also has it, so he's an interesting unit, but there's just the flaws are way too big For me personally, maybe you guys don't really care about those things. Maybe you can overlook those and like say this guy's pretty interesting. But for me, I just don't think that it's that good enough for me. So I'm gonna give him an 8 out of 10 because he could be interesting in the future if he ever gets an EX2 buff, which he definitely needs in the future. If this guy ever gets an EX2 buff and they give him like the 6 times cap or another cover that's actually better, then he probably will be actually pretty good because you can be like an evoke chainer, you can be a mage, but also being a tank, which is actually an interesting concept. It's an interesting concept, just not put out that well, in my opinion. So 8 out of 10. And the final one, Chorale. It sounds like the H would be silent. Chorale. I don't know. Anyways, his whip is, he's a whip user. Finally, whip user, guys. Whip user. That's a good thing. So, 2-handed whip, 185 attack. The biggest problem, like I mentioned in my news video, is that TDH units have a problem with killers. So, this guy already is at a disadvantage by not being able to equip a 2-handed killer weapon of some kind. I know that not many of them exist, but some of them exist. There are some that exist. He doesn't have infinite turns. He's a bolting strike chainer, which is interesting. They are starting to go a lot into bolting strike chaining, which is interesting. So now there's more like there's the big AMOE family, the big Stardust Ray family, and now there's going to be a big bolting strike family. So there's going to be 3 instead of just 2. And then bolting strike was kind of awkward. Now there's going to be 3 big families, which is I think is better for Dark Visions, most likely for pretty much for that. But it's an interesting concept. Anyways, 20% TDH, early standard. 5 times cap with 600% with Lightning's STMR, the new Lightning. I always try to say the new Lightning for all you new players. When I say Lightning's STMR, not the first one, not the second one, the third one. The new one that's going to be coming out on the global side. 200% Demon Killer, passive, on his normal form. 87% defense break on his little burst. He looks like a unit that would have that kind of a thing, like with a whip. Like he would do a defense break. So he does have 75% full break, but I didn't really want to mention it too much because it's not that big of a deal. But it's there. He can be a provoked DPS, similar to Sora. Sora could be a provoked DPS when he was able to do that. He does have 30% evasion. He does have 50% chance of being targeted. He does have a provoke skill. In his Rave Shift form, he has a 92 times max chaining ramp move ability. He has 100% aquatic and human killer, and as Brave Shift form he loses the demon killer, and 100 times mod, 27 hit limit burst chain in his Brave Shift form. So yes, overall he just seems like just a generic DPS that's dark focused, because he basically is locked to dark. He's not completely locked to dark, but he basically almost is. If you want to use all those strongest moves, you're basically locked to dark. His roll compression is very bad to mediocre to okay. Being a provoked DPS is just whatever, because it really doesn't seem to work that well. There really doesn't seem to be a real need to do that. Maybe in the future there will be a thing that will need that. He can only use whips, just like the other guy. He can only use throwing weapons. This guy can only use whips. And it's just a basic DPS. He literally is just a basic DPS. He's almost as basic as you can get. He ramps up his damage. He does the limit burst. It's all the same stuff that a lot of other DPS are doing. So I'm just going to give him a 7.5 out of 10. Because he doesn't really seem that special. He doesn't bring anything to the table that you would bring anyone else for. Right? Unless you like the character, I suppose. So, apologize for being negative all the time, but you guys know how I am. I'm always true in my reviews. I'll never lie to you guys. I'll never hype anything up. And I will always tell you how I feel about these units. So, yeah. Pretty lackluster banner. I'm just going to say this is probably pretty much the skip banner. This is like the breather after Final Fantasy IX. I can skip. This is one of those banners. I think that's actually a good thing though. That this isn't like a must pull or anything. No, definitely not. None of these units are must pulls. If you can get Belmera in the future, that'd be great because her TMR is very good. And especially for free-to-play players, because I'm pretty sure that she'll be UOCable. At this point, there's no more Sunfest for 5 to 7 stars. So you could just UOC her and get her TMR just fine. I think her TMR is worth 10 UOCs 20% physical evasion is very good. And getting physical evasion when you just start playing the game is very tough. It's a climb. So getting that is pretty good. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you watch all the way to the end, make sure to type in hashtag whip meta. Hashtag whip meta is the keyword. Thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like on my review if you like my review, or dislike it if you dislike it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.